Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and I hope you guys are doing great, right? So before I get into this video, right, I just want to tell you something, right? I love what I do, and the most amazing thing is, right, you have your own set of companies which you, how to say, analyze and look forward, and which you are specialize at. But at the same time, right, when we do this kind of work, when people comment, when people ask, or when you analyze your client's portfolio, you get to learn about new companies and new sectors, right? So when I was analyzing one of my clients' portfolio and reviewing one of the companies, right? So I came across a company called Sansera Engineering Limited. So in my today's video, I'm going to talk about them. We are going to go through the same thing. We're going to go through their recent result. We're going to go through the Concall summary and get to the most important point, right? And before I get into that, right, I'll just take you through the business model of this company, and hopefully make you understand what does this company does, right? So this company is an auto ancillary company. It's one of the leading auto ancillary company, and they are into making high precision engineering products. So if you look at their um, components, right, that they make, so they are one of the top 10 global suppliers of connecting rods within the light vehicle segment and commercial vehicles. So that is their, how to say, you can say their USP, or that's what they are famous for at this point of time, right? So, and if you look at their business model, right, so we can divide it into three parts. So, first is a non-auto, which includes aerospace, defense, and semiconductor. Second is auto ICE. ICE is nothing but internal combustion engine, which is their main bread and butter and how the company started. And then the third is tech agnostic, where they provide these products to two wheelers, electric two wheelers, PV, hybrid, BEV, and CV. And regarding the word agnostic, I'm going to explain to you what does that actually mean and why companies going into that, right? So just keep a hold on that. So let's look into their result, right? So if you look at their Q4 result for YOY, it increased by almost 28% to close to 1,000 crores, and PAT was up by almost 105% to 123 crores, and FY26 revenue increased by around 16%, which was not that great compared to the Q4, but still is, I would say, decent, not great. The revenue was around 3,500 crores, and PAT was up by almost 56% to 327 crores. And if in terms of margins, if we see, EBITDA improved from 7.1% to 18.1%, and PAT improved around, from 7.2 to 9.3%. One of the reason is, right, because their current manufacturing facility, which mainly manufactures, these components for ICE vehicles, right? It's literally running at full capacity. So definitely they're getting the operating leverage from their those segments. So if you look, as I spoke about the various segments, right? So let's look at the revenue contribution which each one give. So if you look at auto ICE, right, it contributed to around 70%. Then the non-auto segment, which is aerospace, defense, and semiconductors, it contributed to around 16%. And if you look at their auto tech agnostic and XEV, which is around 14%. So what does tech agnostic means, right? So the word actually means, right, the components that they make, it doesn't really matter whether it's an internal combustion engine or whether it's a electric vehicle. It can be used anywhere. So certain auto ancillary companies will make certain products which are only compatible with internal combustion engine. Certain are only compatible with electric vehicle. But here the agnostic words mean, right, the components that they make can either be used in the in the car, which whether it is an internal combustion engine, whether it's a electric vehicle. So in that way, right, doesn't really matter which market is growing, they are not going to lose their business. So that is very important. So, and if you look at their another thing, right, when they Oriana originally got listed, right, so what they said, right, they want to reduce their overall dependency on the auto ice on the ice segment. The reason is why, because it's cyclical and it's quite heavily dependent on that, and they want to bring it down to 60% over the years. So right now, from earlier around 80 to 90%, it has come down to 70%, which they are doing great, and they want to achieve around 30 to 40% from the remaining segment, which is the tech agnostic and the non-auto segment. Over here, currently it contributes around 30%. So if you look at what they promised during the, how to say, during the IPO time, it's what they are inching closer towards. And if you look on the segment revenue, right, especially for non-auto, which is includes aerospace, defense, and semiconductor, right, the overall yearly revenue was around 315 crores, and which is a growth of almost 155%. So this segment is one of the fastest growing segment for the business. And the most amazing thing is like they have a pending order book of close to 4,500 crore only from this segment alone over the next 5 years, right? I mean, that is actually close to the whole, yearly revenue which they are currently, more than currently they are making, which is around 3,500 crores. So the order book is around close to 4,500 crores, obviously, which is spread over 5 years, and they're growing at a very faster rate. And the other few things that the management spoke about is the FY26 milestone. So they started their Pantnagar facility for the auto eyes, as I told you, right? Their original facility, old facility, is already running at full capacity, so they needed this to satisfy the future demand. And another thing that they have done is like they have gone into a joint venture with a Japanese company called Nichidai Japan, where they are, start manufacturing new products and enter into new market opportunities. So let's look at their expansion plan, or how they are trying to growth and how does it align for their vision. Again, this company also has a vision called as Vision 2030, where they are trying to achieve the revenue target of around 8,000 to 9,000 crore. And if you look at their overall growth, if you see it, in order for them to achieve this growth in the next 3 financial year, they have to grow anywhere between 23 to 25% YOY, which is quite decent, not bad, right? So first thing is obviously the JV with Nishidai Japan over there, where Sansera will have 60% stake and the Japanese company will have 40% stake. Over here, they will focus on cold and warm fudge precision components, which they never used to manufacture before. And they're again expanding into tech-agnostic high precision components. Again, this is very important, right? It's not just the component that they're making, it's a tech agnostic. So whether it is ICE vehicle, whether it's an EV vehicle, whether it's a half battery, it's a hybrid vehicle, doesn't really matter. This components can be used over there. Then obviously the second thing is their, aero defense, aerospace defense and semiconductor segment. So over the next few years, they're going to do a capex of around 250 crores. And at the same time, they're continuously adding new machines, new machining in the current facility. And at the same time, because it is growing at such a faster rate, they are opening around 80,000 square feet hangar in the same campus, which is currently there. And obviously, they are, as I spoke about their Pantnagar facility over here, it will help them to, cater to the demand, the future demand for them. At the same time, they're adding forging capacity. And their Bangalore plant, right? They are adding new machineries, which will mainly focus on tech agnostic and XAD. If you look at the overall capex for the whole thing with the company is doing, and especially for this year, right, it's going to be around 500 crores. And if we look, and the other thing is the management said, right, next year we have to be careful that their H1 will be much better than H2 in the auto segment. So if you look at this company, the company, I mean, see, the Q4 was quite great. Overall year was decent, and obviously they have a growth plan which is not that aggressive if you look at it, but they are still growing at a decent, growth of around whatever they have given, around 23 to around 25%. But if I look at in terms of valuation, personally, I find it a bit slightly expensive if I look from the PEG ratio and the forward PE expense. Because if I look at the PEG and the future PE growth, it comes to around more than 1 or 1.5, right? So I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it. But in terms of if you ask me about the business is great, sustainable. They know that they are growing and they are expanding. They are, putting the money, and especially the main thing that they're doing is that they are reducing their dependency from their auto ICE segment and growing into, this non-auto and the tech agnostic space. And if their aero defense, aerospace defense and semiconductor business kicks up and becomes their, how to say, main business and grow at a much higher rate, then it could be a game changer for the future of the company. So that's all from my side, guys. If you like this video, please do hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and God bless you.